Okay, so someday I'm not going to be around to help you and you're going to be in the mood for something yummy. So today I'm going to show you how to make gingersnap cookies. This is April's recipe. You want to make sure you have everything laid out to make it easy for you when you get going. So I've got a couple of cookie tins for baking it. I've got a mid-sized bowl and of course stuff for the oven to keep myself not burned. This recipe calls for 3/4 a cup of margarine, and of course a cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of molasses, 1 egg, teaspoon of baking soda, right there, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of cloves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, with 2 cups of flour. I've pre-measured everything out, and now I'm going to pause and put things together. Okay, so now that my camera rig is set up, I'm going to work on filling this bowl with my dry ingredients. This is a trick that I've learned that really makes my life simpler. My sister recommends putting a little bit of a heaping spoon of the cinnamon and of the cloves to give it a little bit more of a kick. See if we can get into this thing. And you can see I'm moving things out of my zone once I use them, because I don't want to accidentally double measure. Now, all my dry ingredients are in this bowl. Some there's a lot of, and some there's only a little bit of volume. So by me doing this, I can mix it uniformly so that when I add it to the wet ingredients, it turns out really nice. I'm going to pause and get ready for wet. Okay, so we've got margarine. If I can get into it. I've got an egg. I need a 1/4 cup of molasses. Guess I should be doing it this way. That. A teaspoon of vanilla. And now I need to cream this together. Do that using this guy. Never really used one of these before this year. I'm certainly not a pro at it, but I've come to realize it's a really great tool. And now we're going to add our dry goods. And we're going to mix it all together. And I usually mix this until the sides of the bowl are pretty clean. And then I can just make it into a ball with my hands. You can see it's pretty sticky stuff, but it's mixed pretty uniformly. Now I could keep at this for a good long time, but I think that this is probably pretty good. Okay, now the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make these into balls and put them on the cookie sheet. So I'm just going to pause and get set up for that. Okay, so the one dry ingredient that I didn't mix in was the white sugar. The white sugar is to coat these balls that I'm going to make. Now this is pretty sticky, so you could throw it in the refrigerator, make it a little easier to work with, but it's not so bad. And I found that you don't want to go any bigger than a ping pong ball. I've sprayed my cookie sheets with some baking spray, Pam. I found that that makes a big difference even in non-stick bragging cookware. And we're just going to coat these guys. Like that. And then we're going to put them on the sheet. And you know what? I can probably get away with putting a dozen per sheet. Now I'm going to pause, get this all done, and we'll proceed to the next step. Okay, so we're back, and I decided to make a few bigger cookies, so I stretched my batch onto 3 cookie trays. The last thing you want to do is turn your oven on to 350, let it preheat, and then make your nice pattern on your cookies. Oh, there we go. Try not to squish these down too much. As they bake, they'll go down as it is. So I'll pause and we'll put it in the oven as soon as I'm done, and then we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. Okay, we're just about at the 10-minute mark. There we go. Let's see how we did. Oh, that looks good. big ones are a little soft, I guess. Let's be careful with that. Whenever I make these, I think of my brother Sam, how much he loves them. Of course, I could let these set on the pan a little longer, cool down, but I'm impatient. But you can see how they lay right down. My fork prints didn't really turn out, but that's okay because they're the size and shape we wanted. And I guess I should get my kids to test them. Whoop! Good thing I'm not a professional, hey? And there we go.